Last week they broke out of Arkham. This week we had a meeting of the Legion of something. But that's okay, because we started with a boom, because the Joker is wild. Get it? It's kind of a pun on the name thing.
Welcome to the heart of the stories we tell. My name is Rob, and tonight I will be reviewing
Episode 17 of Gotham, mandatory brunch meeting. And it's a mandatory brunch meeting of villains, I guess. Alright, so all in all, this is a pretty powerful episode, one where we learn little bits and pieces, and it had a surprise or two for most people, although unfortunately part of that was spoiled for me due to pictures, which you will see in the spoiler section. So if you have not watched this episode yet, go watch it, then come back, because we are going to talk about some deep cuts into what's been going on in Gotham pretty much from here on out, I'm betting. But first, for those of you that don't know, what I do here is I review stories. I do them as they come out like this. I do Throwback Thursdays on Thursdays, and I do theory videos on how and why we tell stories on Sundays. If that sounds interesting, click subscribe. Right now, we're talking about how the shadow of Ra's al Ghul is still falling across Gotham. And as much as last week we got a few hints as to what that means, I'm betting there's still a surprise or two left, along with at least one or two more times we're seeing that actor before the end of the season. Not just the series, before the end of the season. But right now, we start off with Harvey and Gordon hot on the case. Let's get into it.
So once again, it's stop. Spoiler time.
We started off with the Arkham escapees going wild, specifically because Jerome has a plan. Now, like I said, his plan involves someone named Wild, who just happens to be his exact twin. Hit, and a meticulous planner. But he sent Tetch to find that out. In the meantime, he has Tetch and Penguin and Firefly and Mr. Freeze, all of the main villains we've met so far, really, assembled for the name of the episode, a mandatory brunch meeting. And it was pretty cool seeing them all in one place. His basic plan? We're going to paint the whole town red. Well, Penguin decides that he needs some muscle, and then in the aftermath, when Jerome leaves, he's going to still be in charge. So he goes after Grundy, Butch, and things go about as well as you would expect. And I kind of feel for Butch. The whole, hey, I'm a monster, how could Tabitha ever love me again? Although, at the other hand, Tabitha did kind of say she would, so I'm kind of like, you're kind of feeling sorry for yourself there, bud. And there's enough of that going around. But while Grundy's coming to his existential crisis, Lee decides to shut down the Riddler, and that means challenging him, which is batshit crazy, even for Gotham. So we're left with three major dangling plots. Bruce hunting Jerome, Jerome hunting Wild, and will Riddler be able to beat her? Now, specifically, Tetch has gotten the information needed to find Wild, but Wild's ready for him. So Jerome had a brother, one that wasn't mentioned before now because, well, he wasn't written before now. And to be honest, it's a pretty interesting idea. A slightly older brother who was more mechanically and planning inclined, but still just as psychotic. And Jerome used to torture him, or maybe he tortured him. Jerome can't quite remember. But either way, like I said before, the Joker's wild. Remember, during that mandatory brunch meeting? Well, Crane, the Scarecrow, was working on something. And what was it? Then they needed Freeze to work with it too. Either way, by the time that Gordon and Bullock catch up to Mr. Wild and find out the truth, Jerome's already been captured. And you know what? Wild makes a pretty good argument. One that I like. Arkham couldn't hold him, you couldn't hold him, I can hold him. Now this is the part that was spoiled for me, because someone had seen this footage ahead of time. But I have to say, the idea at first irked me. Some long-lost brother, some secret hidden twin, it's the same actor, but not the same character, so the Joker isn't Jerome, he's this other character. Kind of rubbed me the wrong way. But once watching it in execution, Gotham has once again did the impossible. And I have to say, I wasn't sure how I was going to rate this episode, but it was pretty amazeballs. It was kind of weird though seeing Echo without Corey, which are the Joker or the Riddler's main henchwomen, but in this is working for Jerome's brother. And well, it was pretty interesting because it was really still a Riddler episode somewhat. The B story was the whole can she outthink the Riddler? And she pulls this the doc pulls this great trick. First she gets Ed to tell her what the answer is, even or at least give her clues, and then she gets him to not want to answer her riddle. And as such she wins the bet. Pretty smart going, Leslie. And I'd like to point out that way back in season 1, her and Gordon did used to solve Ed's riddles too, so it's not like it's unheard of. Meanwhile, through all of this, you have to wonder what happened to Bruce. I mean, yeah, he was told to go home. He was told if he gets involved again, they're going to press charges. But see, the brother's story, wild, is that he tried to kill him. But his version is he didn't actually try to kill him. He wanted to, but he didn't because he loved him. And as such, the other guy just turned his family against him, which by the time we met Jerome, his family was kind of against him. And you have to remember, he didn't even know who his father was. And again, twins notwithstanding, the two of them play off the two aspects of the Joker rather well. The crazy and the planner, the person who can go toe-to-toe with Bruce. Chaos incarnate. But we're going to see more of this in the next couple of episodes. We also had a really funny moment where Tetch tried to mesmerize Bullock and Gordon, and Bullock's like, screw that. So Bullock just starts screaming, no, I'm not listening to you, and shooting at him and chasing after him. And Tetch is like, that's not a good thing, and then starts running, and Scarecrow and Tetch just literally just hightail it from Bullock. Well, Bullock and Gordon. Now, we already had the cool fight sequence and a bunch of other things going on, but I have to say, that was pretty fun. Especially since it was just basically Bullock shoving his fingers in his ear and going, la 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 la, not listening. Of course, then we get the ending with the question of how do you drive Gotham insane? And Bullock saying, thought it already was. Anyone who took even 10 seconds of reading some Batman comics knew what was coming. Joker gas. Now, I have some spoilers too. I know what's going to happen next. But what do you think? Let me know in the comment section. Especially let me know what you think of tonight's episode. And do you think that Bruce is next week going to have to run into Joker gas? And of course, if you haven't already, click the like and share buttons and help me promote this channel so that we can form a community. And if you're new here, click the subscribe button, enable alerts, and let's start talking about how and why we tell stories, specifically starting with Gotham, and how mad the whole town is about to go. Maybe as mad as a hatter. Alright, no more puns. I hope you have a good night, and thank you for walking with me through the heart of the stories we tell.